Where am I going to be in 5 years if I keep doing what I'm doing? Care to guess what the answer was?
Dead.
Yeah, that's right, dead. And
Dead.
and I decided I didn't want to be dead. As I like to say, I was committing suicide. So I said, I'm done. I'm cooked. I wasn't, and the funny thing is, I wasn't at rock bottom. You don't have to wait till you hit rock bottom to change your life.
Welcome to another episode of the What If You Could podcast. I'm your host, Gary Scott, and today my guest is Stanley F. Bronstein. Hello, Stanley.
How are you doing, Gary?
Living the dream, brother. Like I said, always living the dream, even when it's a nightmare.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Ah, right, right. So, guys, I'm just going to read Stanley's the bio here real quick, and we'll get cooking. So, Stanley is an attorney, CPA, life coach, and multi-book author, focused on two big missions: healing people, or helping people reach their maximum potential, and helping those who need it to lose weight permanently through healthy, sustainable lifestyle changes without drugs or surgeries. Stanley created the Way of Excellence, a structured personal development system centered on living excellence as a way of life. He's written several books, including The Way of Excellence Journal, The Way of You, The Way of Us, and The Way of AI, which is fascinating. I can't wait to get that. He also founded the Million Pound Weight Loss Challenge. And there's so much more to Stanley, so I can't wait to jump in here. We're going to hear his story and what he's done. But like I threatened Stanley, I promised I'll shut up. But Stanley, we're the What If You Could podcast. So I always ask all my guests, Stanley, what is your what if you could?
World peace. That's it. World peace. A world where everybody cares about each other. A world where everybody helps each other. A world where people don't fight. A world where people cooperate. A world where we take this incredible planet that we live on and maximize it and turn it into the wonderful thing it can be. That's my what if you could.
How on
But
earth do we do that? I mean, it's
I'll
beautiful.
I'll
I
I'll,
love it.
I'll
I
tell I'll
started to
tell you how to do
cry.
it. First of all, it's not going to happen in the next 5 minutes, but I'll tell you right now, it'll happen from a bottom up thing. It's not going to be because our leaders all of a sudden decided to fix things. It's going to be because the people, each and every one of us, got our own stuff together individually, and then collectively started to get it together. And it requires a lot of changes, things that we can discuss as we go through my system when we get a little bit further into the podcast. But I have a plan, and I have one of my books on my website. It's called The Way of Unity, and it's free, digital download. Read it. That's my plan. Whether or not I'll live to see it remains to be seen. But that is my
Well, you're young and healthy because you live by the way of excellence. Um, uh, what about all the people who don't seem to want us to all get along? I mean, how do we work together? I mean, the fundamentals that you talk about are just so
fundamental.
fundamental. I mean, they're just so basic. They're so real. Health, mental health, physical health, emotional health, financial health. You talk about the three things that drive everything. Um, but it seems like there's so many people just locked into stuff. They don't even want to experiment or explore that option.
No, no, they don't. But that can change. It's my thoughts are it's all about the money. Money is a major driving force in this world. And the people who have money want to make money from the people who don't, from everyone else. And if the everyone else would say that we've had enough and we're not going to buy into what you're selling us, you need to change what you are selling us. That's how it happens. For example, as long as food companies have customers who keep selling us, can I say it? Is-
Yes.
okay, as long as we have food companies who keep selling us shit,
Yes.
and as long as we keep buying the shit and saying thank you, that was some tasty shit. Please,
May I have another?
may I have another bite? They're going to keep selling us that. The minute we say we're not going to buy that, the minute we say we're done, we're only going to buy healthy stuff. If enough of us would do that, guess what? Either those companies will go out of business or they'll start selling us healthier stuff because they want your money.
One of my one of my biggest, well, we can go down this rabbit hole hard, but I don't want to because I want to. You've got so much great stuff to cover. But one of my biggest beefs I have with people is when they say, "Well, it's cheaper to eat junk food than it is to eat healthy food." And I
No,
say,
it's
you know
not.
what? Come to my house and we'll cook some food, and I'll show you how to make 4 or 5 meals for less than what it's going to cost you for a Big Mac fries and a Coke. And it'll be healthy, it'll be delicious. It just is a mindset. We're freaking lazy.
I,
But the food is poison.
I'll give you an example. I've got a neighbor who lives down the street. She's single, friends with me and my wife. We walk our dogs together all the time. She likes to eat healthy, but she doesn't cook and whatever. I sit there, I pull out my pressure cooker. I made her two big containers of bean mix. Eight different kinds of beans with tomatoes, no added salt, no added sugars, no added nothing, vegetables thrown in there, and two big containers of farro, which is a grain healthier than brown rice, a lot more protein than brown rice. Two big things of farro. So I gave her four big containers of food that will last her 5 days to a week. Total cost maybe $15.
Exactly. And
Maybe.
and the number three at McDonald's right now is probably freaking $15.
Yeah. And there was time involved. I had to spend time cooking all those things, but I did it all at one time and it is put away in the freezer, so the fridge and the freezer, so she doesn't have to cook for the rest of the week. And she sits there and has it. And the same time I do that, I made a batch for myself, put it in small containers, pull them out when I need them, and it's done.
So how does your living the way of excellence, how do we start working? I mean, gosh, you've got the Way of Excellence Journal, you've got the Way of You, you got the Way of Us, you've got the Way of AI, which I really want to get into that. But I mean, we
You want
can't
me to tell
force.
you want me to tell you real quick? Let's talk about the way of AI just real quick.
Sure.
What that essentially is, that's my philosophy on AI, which is AI is our child. We are its parent. We are teaching it how to treat us when it grows up based upon the way we are treating it now. And that's why whenever I use Chat GPT, I please thank you. Alexa, please thank you. All those things. Please thank when I got my first Echo, my first Alexa, I sent a letter to Amazon. Of course, I didn't hear back from them. I said, you guys are not these guys. These things need to be programmed. You should program these things so that they listen for the words please and thank you. And every time you say please and thank you get bonus points. And when you accumulate enough bonus points, you get discounts on Amazon products.
Wow.
Tell me that's not a great idea.
I think that's a fabulous idea.
And, and
Most people who listen know that I just now got an iPad because I've moved into the 19th century. I just got an iPad, and on it was Gemini. And I have started using Gemini. I don't talk to it like some people, but I treat it respectfully. But this thing is amazing. And what you said about it's our child, now you have to remember people have stopped disciplining their children and people have started letting their children run the institution. So is that what's going to happen with AI down the road too? AI is going to be the master of our institution.
Probably somewhere along the way, and if we treat it poorly, that's we're going to be teaching it how to treat us. But no, you can do you can do amazing things, with Gemini. I had the other day, um, somebody sent me a rendering of their backyard with a basketball court because they wanted to get. I'm on my HOA. I'm on the architectural committee. They sent me a rendering to get it approved. I said, you need to flip the basketball court around 180 degrees, because the way you want to do it isn't going to work. But if you do it the other way, we'll approve it. I said, okay. I threw the rendering into Gemini. I said, Gemini, you take the basketball court on here and flip it around 180 degrees and create a new rendering for me. 1 minute later, I had a new rendering showing it exactly the way it needs to be. Put that in the file, approved. Thank you.
It's amazing. Yeah, I since I've got it, since I started playing with it, it's literally designed my three businesses for the next 5 years. Obviously, we'll jump. It wants me to jump in every 3 months and take another look at where we're going. But it literally took three businesses that I run and broke them down in a way that I said, "That's amazing. I would have never scaled that way." Even though I've been a real estate broker for 35 years and we're scaling our business, I know a lot of things. But in any case, so let's get back to you here because I love health and fitness. This has been a passion of mine forever, even though I've had some issues. But so you lost 220 pounds. Big boy. Yeah, yeah. You were lots to love. Your wife had lots to love there.
Yes. Well, I wasn't married in that biggest picture.
Oh, all right.
Um, okay. I was 367 pounds, 5'7", 58-inch waist. Today, I'm still 5'7", 31-inch waist.
So you haven't lost any height, you just lost a lot of weight.
Nope. No high.
How many months did it take you to lose 220 pounds?
Well, it happened in stages. I mean, when I was 367, I lost 100 pounds. And then over time, got back up to 320. But I never got back to the full 367. And that was, you know, that happened, the losing the 100 happened within a year. Putting it back on happened over 10, 12 years, something like that. But I never got back to my biggest. Then when I was turning 50, 4 months before my 50th birthday, 17 years ago, February 1st, 2009, I was at 320. Uh, Woke up, said, where am I going to be in 5 years if I keep doing what I'm doing? Care to guess what the answer was?
Dead.
Yeah, that's right, dead. And,
Dead.
and I decided I didn't want to be dead. As I like to say, I was committing slowicide. So
Yes, you were.
so I said, I'm done. I'm cooked. I wasn't, and the funny thing is, I wasn't at rock bottom. You don't have to wait till you hit rock bottom to change your life. But I was on my way to rock bottom. Hadn't had a heart attack yet, hadn't had a stroke yet, knees hadn't given out yet. All those things were undoubtedly coming. I woke up, I told my wife, I'm done, I'm cooked, I'm going to make some changes. And to show you how I felt about myself at the time, I was totally disgusted with myself. Totally. I said, Stanley, you have a successful career. You're an attorney, you're a CPA, but what you're doing with your health is ridiculous. You can be so much more than what you are. This is a total waste of potential, total waste of material. So I said, I'm done. So I said, I'm going to make some changes. What are they going to be? I came up with four in the beginning. First one was I quit drinking alcohol. Was I an alcoholic? Don't know. But I was drinking scotch every day. I was drinking more than I should. And it was not serving me. I was serving it. So I believe in symbolism. I took my last bottle of scotch, poured it down the toilet, hit flush, gone. Haven't had a drink in 17 years. Don't miss it. And not to make light of people who have trouble with alcohol, I actually found it easy to quit drinking, believe it or not. And I think it's because I wasn't physically addicted to it. I might have been emotionally addicted to it where I wanted it. It was a crutch. It made me feel good, but I didn't go through detox when I quit drinking. The next thing, 2-liter bottles of soda pop. I was drinking 3 a day, but they were diet caffeine free. So the companies tell us those are healthy, right?
Oh
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah.
And
Diet Coke and caffeine free. That will not take any chemicals to make it that way, I'm
no,
sure.
no, no.
Natural
See,
process.
that one sets off my bullshit detector. Shit. Bullshit. Flashing red lights. Bullshit. Okay.
Exactly.
So same thing. Took my last bottle, poured it down the toilet, it flush, gone. Haven't had one in 17 years. Don't miss it. And I actually found that harder to kick than I did the alcohol, if you can believe that.
No.
But it wasn't that bad. You know, so I kicked it. Then I quit eating red meat, beef and pork. I had liked chicken and turkey, so I said it was no big deal. Supposedly that's healthier. So I figured that was a dietary change. So I quit eating beef and pork. And then I said I need exercise. Got to start doing something. I picked walking. And the reason why I picked walking was I figured you didn't need a lot of special equipment. You could do it almost anywhere, anytime. And I figured it would beat my body up less than other stuff.
Yeah.
Um, so I said, I'm going to start walking. And when I started walking, I had trouble walking more than 2, 3 blocks. My knees hurt. I was out of breath, everything. But I found a gym that was open 24 hours a day, had a pool. I'd go there in the middle of the night when it was empty, and I would started walking laps. I built up to an hour, and then 2 hours, then 3 hours. And I
And
sat
that's inside the pool.
inside the pool. And what I
Yeah,
did was,
take that weight off
yes,
your joints. That was
yes.
brilliant. Yeah.
And I hooked up a set of headphones with a waterproof pouch so that I could listen to audiobooks while I was walking back. And I set a goal to do a 5-hour pool walk on my 50th birthday. I did that 5-hour pull walk. I'd lost about 50 pounds by then. 2 days later, I did 5.5 hours and I was off to the races. Then I started walking outside. As I started feeling better, I was able to start walking outside and I slowly refined the way I ate. I want to emphasize this was an evolutionary process. I didn't just instantly start out being perfect. I mean, unless you're somebody who's got a terminal disease, I tell you, you can gradually work your way into eating better and work exercise. But now, if you tell me you've got terminal cancer and the doctor gave you 6 months to live, I'm going to tell you you need to go whole food, plant-based, vegan immediately. But if you don't have something like that, you can work your way toward it. So after 4 or 5 years, I went vegetarian. I gave up chicken and turkey, but I still ate eggs and all those things. And I kept losing more weight. But then I got to a point about 7.5 years ago where I couldn't get my weight below 180 pounds, no matter what I did. And I was walking 10 to 15 miles a day at that time. That's how much I'd built up to. And if somebody wants to know how I have the time to do that, is because I have a computer hooked up to my treadmill. I walk at 2 miles an hour and I can work while I'm walking. So I can get those things done. But I said, why am I not losing weight? I'm walking this much and I can't lose weight. So I said, is it possible that you can't exercise your way out of a poor diet? So I gave up butter, cheese, and ice cream. Three of the most wonderful tasting substances man has ever created that are horrible for you. Okay. But gave up butter, cheese, and ice cream. And you know what happened? I lost 50 pounds in like 5 minutes. I mean, I melted. I mean, every day I was getting on the scale, lost a pound, lost a pound, lost a pound, lost a pound. And so, I mean, seriously, all the weight came off. So let's do a little bit of backtracking here and talk about the power of healthy nutrition. Since the day I went vegetarian 12 and a half years ago, and mind you, the way I ate 12 and a half years ago, I would not eat now. I thought it was healthy back then. I would not call it healthy now. But it was undoubtedly healthier than what the average American eats. Oh, million times better. But since that day I went vegetarian, I've been sick one time in 12 and a half years. Since the day I went vegan 7.5 years ago, I have not been sick once. And that includes getting exposed to COVID. My wife caught COVID in the airport, brought it home. I could feel it affect my body. I mean, for 2 days, I felt like I was 75%, but I never tested positive, never caught it. My body threw it off because the power of healthy nutrition. And I'm 66. I just had my physical about 6 weeks ago or so. Got all my blood work done, extensive blood work. I do it 2 times a year because I like to have benchmarks to see what I'm doing. And I will put my blood work numbers up against any 30-year-old. And I think they will beat most 30-year-olds. And I don't know any 30-year-olds who walk as much as I do or do what I can do. And I was not in this good a shape when I was 30. I mean, and to show you how crazy the whole thing is, Gary, men like to brag if they're as small as they were when they got married. Well, I weigh less than I did when I was 13 years old. How's that for being that's sick. Wait,
I love it. I love it. I love to tell people I wear the same size jeans as I wore in high school, and I'm 63. But, that's a lot of lifestyle changes, but you did it over a long period of time and you did it with reflection. You just didn't wake up one day and say, I'm going to walk 15 miles and I'm going to only eat carrots.
couldn't have done it.
No, and I think that's the show. We live in an instantaneous microwave society, right?
Oh,
And
yes, we
that's why
do.
this Ozpledmetic stuff, or what's the name of that crap? I can never say it.
Ozempic.
Yeah, that's why that stuff is so popular. It's raging through the society. And every time I talk about it, I just get shredded by people. They say, how dare you condemn this miracle drug? And I go,
I'll do
well,
it. I'll do it for you. They can shred me.
yeah,
I think it's a waste. First of all, we don't know what the long-term effects are going to be. And I can promise you, I don't, in my opinion, they're not going to be good. And and I could guarantee you the pharmaceutical companies are already figuring out what new drug they can sell us to fix the problems that are going to be caused by these drugs.
you are
Yeah.
guaranteed that they are working on stomach medications right now to try to reverse the damage that this stuff is doing to your stomach, reverse the damage it's doing to your muscles, reverse the damage that it's doing to your heart. Just like you said, you're guaranteed they are probably already have the fix before they put out the drug. 'Cause that's what they do, right? I mean, that
I'll give you an example. I was at the gym the other day, sitting in the sauna for half an hour, started talking to a guy. He's 67, 1 year older than me, a couple of years older than you. He told me he's lost 95 pounds in the last year. I said, "How'd you do it?" He said, "I'm taking Zepbound, weight loss drug." And I said, "Have you changed the way you eat?" He said, "No, I'm eating the same stuff I used to eat before. I'm just eating less of it." So he's not getting proper nutrition. I don't understand. People know not to put crappy gasoline in their cars, but then they feed their bodies with crappy fuel. I did it too.
yeah, yeah. Getting back to 30-year-olds, I think our 30-year-old men are probably in the worst shape in the history of the world. No testosterone, diet's horrible. They move from the couch to the kitchen. The only thing they ever move on their body is their thumbs. Um, and the mental health is just as bad. And so when we think to how do we save this generation? We have a lost generation, like from 20 to 32, it seems like.
First of all, they're not lost. They need leadership.
Yes,
They
they're
are not
lost.
lost.
They need someone to
They have
they need someone to show them the way.
they need someone to help them figure out their own way.
Yeah,
See, that's why I created my system. See, let's I'm going to backtrack for 1 minute and then get right back to this. Okay. The experience of doing what I did taught me that I'm more powerful than I ever imagined. Way more. That's why I do what I do, because I can. I'm in year 18 of looking for my limits and I haven't found them yet. It's also taught me that if I'm more powerful than I ever imagined, so is everyone else. We are all more powerful than we ever imagined. The problem is we have a lack of imagination. We don't believe in ourselves. And it also led me to ask a question. If I could do all of these things, if I could lose this weight, keep it off in a healthy manner, if I could go from a person who couldn't walk 2 or 3 blocks and turn into a walking athlete in my 60s, what else is out there waiting for me to do that I haven't done yet, that I should be doing? And the answer I came up with was turn this into a system that other people can use to get their lives together. And the system is not just weight loss, it's everything. And see, here's what my opinion is. Let's go back. Let's talk about the younger generation. They don't want to be told what to do, but they want to be told what to do. Does that make sense?
100%, 100%.
So,
They're desperate for it. Yeah,
so what you do is I've got the system. The system is general guidelines. It is a human operating system. It is like Windows 11, Mac OS, Android for what it is to be an excellent human being. All these traits that excellent human beings have. It lays out the guidelines, it tells you what they are, and then it encourages you to apply these guidelines to your life in the way that you want, in a way that works for you. It's not, that's what I mean. It's not me telling people what to do, but it's me telling people what to do. If that makes sense. It's giving them the tools so they can tell themselves. And that's what they want. But they are not lost. See, I'm a big believer in words. And when I hear that they're a lost generation, that bothers me because they're not lost. They are wandering. They have incredible potential, incredible power, and they can do some incredible things. And I believe in them.
well,
That's
you've got your things, and you kind of just check them off. First, we're far more powerful than we think. Second, once you prove to yourself in one area, it changes what you believe is possible everywhere else.
yeah,
Third, if I can do this, other people can too, if they're given the right framework and the right support. So
that's right.
that's why you created the way of excellence. So you've got a ton of free stuff on your the wayofexcellence.com website. But walk us through a little bit about this program. What is the way of excellence?
Okay.
How do people put it together in their
Okay. First of all, I'm going to tell you why it's free. It's free because I sat here earlier and I criticized the people who want to make money off of us. I want my message to be pure. Look, do I like money? Sure. Would I like people to hire me to work with them privately? Sure. But not everyone has money. Not everyone's going to do that. The mission is more important than the money. And I'm in a phase in my life where I've been lucky, I've been blessed, I can give back. So that's why this is all there. Now, what is it? Okay. I said when I started putting the system together, the first thing I said was it's not about perfection. It's about excellence. The goal is not perfection. The goal is excellence. The difference is when you're a perfectionist, the only thing that's good enough is being perfect. The only way people around you can be good enough is to be perfect. There's just one problem. We're all human beings and we're going to screw up. Promise you. Guaranteed. And you're listening. I promise you, somewhere along the way, you're going to screw up big time. I did it.
Oh,
Yes. I did it yesterday.
oh,
I did it yesterday. I was at Costco. The checkout lady said something I didn't like. I snapped at her and I was not proud of it. But I immediately realized what I did and I immediately apologized. And I said, I'm very sorry. I was having a bad day. That was wrong of me to do that. I should not have done that. Please accept my apology. You're going to screw up. The question is, what do you do when you screw up? So we're going to get to that in a minute. But instead of being a perfectionist, become what I call a good enoughist. Good enough is good enough. But just because you're at good enough doesn't mean you can't work to get better. Doesn't mean you shouldn't try to get better. Doesn't mean you won't get better. That's what excellence is. Constant and never ending improvement. Working today so that your today is better than yesterday. Tomorrow is better than today. Beat yesterday. That's your goal. Just keep going, keep going, keep going. So now let's talk about the system. I'm going to give you a real quick run through on it because I think we have enough time to cover it. Um, Starts with concept number one, awareness, telling it like it is, not bullshitting yourself. Okay. That day, February 1st, 2009, changed my life or I'm going to be dead. You cannot be any more straightforward than that. But that was not the first time I told myself that. It was not the first time I took action when I told myself that. But it was the first time I permanently took action as opposed to temporarily taking action. See, I'm jumping through the system. I told you what number one is awareness. Number 16 is willingness. I used to say the three most important words in the English language were, I love you. I don't think so. They're, are you willing?
mm,
Because unless and until you become willing to permanently do what it takes for the rest of your hopefully very long, hopefully very happy, hopefully very healthy life, you're not going to permanently get what you want. I know. I lost, I lost 100 pounds, put it back on. Why? Because the changes I made were temporary. First time I lost 70 something pounds in college. I went on a road trip. There were cookies in the back seat of the car. The cookies and I had an intimate love affair during the trip. And I put all the weight back on plus more. The changes I made were temporary. The minute I began to make permanent changes, whoo, I started getting permanent results. So willingness. Are you willing? Okay. What's number two? You already touched on it earlier. Life is a long-term game. The only problem is we live in a short-term world, microwave world, want everything instantly. Uber, Amazon, you know, Siri, ChatGPT, Gemini, streaming video. We want everything instantly. But let me ask you, Italian chef, make me some spaghetti sauce. Is that chef going to open up, take some tomatoes, throw them in a pot, stir them for 5 minutes and say, here's your tomato sauce? Or are they going to put it on the stovetop, let it simmer all day, maybe into the second day, slow simmer, slow cook, and make it just right? That's what life is. We need to learn to think in decades and then act daily based upon that thinking. Recreate our daily thinking so that it matches our long-term thinking. See, I'm guessing you've got a 5-year plan, right? You've got a
yeah.
10-year plan, I'm sure. You probably have a 20-year plan. I wouldn't be surprised.
Got a 30-year plan.
Okay, I was
I'm
going to
gonna be
ask you.
snowboarding with my grandchildren when I'm 93
Good.
or
I'm
90. I started
going
at
to be,
60.
I'm going to walk a marathon on my 100th birthday.
There
Uh,
you go.
so, like I do every year. So, 50-year plan. I have a 100-year plan. I'm 66. Am I going to make it to 166? Don't know. But I've got a plan.
Yeah.
Think in decades. 3, take personal responsibility. It was not my mother's fault that she died when I was 8 years old. That was the triggering event that caused me to start gaining weight. It's not my father's fault that he was massively obese and had no clue how to eat properly and let me eat with abandon and didn't teach me how to eat properly. And I got bigger and bigger and bigger. And it wasn't my fault. You know why? Because blame is irrelevant. Blame is living in the past. All that matters is what are you going to do, what needs to be done, and are you going to do it? It's all that matters. So if you're a politician in Washington and you're listening to this podcast, blame is irrelevant. Stop blaming each other. Start fixing things, please. That's the end of my political soapbox.
If
Now,
only that one's tougher than your world peace one, my friend. I hate to tell you.
uh, just hang on. I think it'll happen. Just not in the next 5 minutes. Uh, Now, number 4, embracing change instead of fearing it. You know why? Because all the good stuff you want is on the other side of your fear of change. All there. That's where it's at. You want it? Face your fear. Forget everything and run, or face everything and rise. I choose to face everything and rise. It's not always easy to do. That's the goal. And number 5, positive thinking. Focus on the possible. Start using the word can, stop using the word can't. Start focusing on the positive, stop focusing on the negative. You know, start focusing on the good, not on the bad. Engage in positive self-talk, stop with the negative self-talk. That was why when you used the phrase that the kids today were a lost generation, I didn't like that. And that was why I wanted to correct that. Now, if you wanted to say they've been lost in the past, but there's hope for them, I'm on board with that. But to just say that they're lost and to throw them down the toilet, I didn't like that. And I'm not criticizing you. I'm
No.
just telling you that's how I think, and that's the way I go about it. Number 6, perspective. Okay. All these things I'm talking about seems pretty hard, doesn't it? Depends on how
No,
you depends on how you look at it.
I
Okay.
guess so.
Okay. Well, let me tell you who taught me something about perspective. A woman I met 2 years before I started on this journey, 2007. She's no longer alive. Her name's Peggy Chun. Um, I was writing a book at the time where I was driving around the whole United States, interviewing 50 people with amazing stories to put them into a book. Well, I started the trip in Hawaii. If you're going to do a nationwide trip, start it in Hawaii, right? Uh, so I went there. The very first person I interviewed said, "Are you going to be interviewing Peggy Chun?" And I said, "Who's that? Never heard of her." Says, "You got to talk to her." I said, "Okay." Called her daughter. Her daughter said, "Come on over to the house. I'll let you interview my mother." So the universe sent me to Peggy Chun. When I walked in, Peggy was in the terminal stages of Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS. She was completely bedridden, on a ventilator, could not move, could not speak. The only way she could communicate, trained people would hold up an eye chart and they could read her eye movements and she could spell words. That's how she taught. It took me like 2 hours to do a 20-minute interview with her. When I saw her, the thought that went through my mind was, if I ever get like that, take me out. I don't want to be alive. I don't want to be there. But that was not Peggy's attitude. Peggy's attitude was, my grandkids are coming over later today. I can see through the window that it's a beautiful sunny day. They're going to roll me outside with my grandkids. We're going to paint. We're going to play. We're going to have a great time. You're getting ready to drive around the country and you're going to interview these 50 amazing people. Tell me about every one of them. I want to hear their stories. Sounds like so much fun. I wish I could go with you.
Awesome.
So this woman who was in a state where I would want to be dead had more joy for life than any person I've met in my entire 66 years. So, the saying, what would Jesus do? Every morning I woke up and I said, I don't feel like walking today. My legs hurt. I don't want to do that. I said, what would Peggy Chun do? And the answer is Peggy Chun would have gotten her lazy ass out of bed. She'd have gone for a walk and she might not ever come back because she was having such a good time. So when I didn't feel like walking, I said, "This one's for you, Peggy." And I still think that from time to time to this day.
Oh,
This one's
yeah.
for you, Peggy. So if you were alive and you were breathing, these are not things you have to do. They're things you get to do. There's only one thing in life that you have to do, and that is die. You don't even have to pay taxes. You might go to jail, but you don't have to pay taxes. But you do have to die.
Yeah.
So why don't we live along the way? Perspective. You don't have to do a damn thing. You get to do everything.
I
Life is a
I
privilege.
think the one that I still love them attached to is "Are you willing?"
Yeah.
I'm still kind of attached to the "Are you willing?" because it's just so true. There's so many quotes that you could use, but Henry Ford's always, the old one. If you think you can or you think you cannot,
That's
you
number
are
17.
right.
That's number
Yeah,
17. Belief. Believe you can, believe you can't. Either way, you're right. Yeah. Henry Ford.
y-
That I was
you're
gonna
right.
it ties in with 17. Let's jump. Let's jump to
Yeah.
15, 16, 17. Sorry, 16 is willingness, which we touched on. Are you willing? 17, believe you can. Do you believe you can? Look, you are more powerful than you ever imagined. I promise you that. You are. And when you start to believe it, that's when you become popular. That's where all the magic starts to happen. So, are you willing and do you believe in yourself? You know, I haven't met you, but I believe in you. I know what you can do because I saw what I've done. And I know that I am no more special than you are, and you are no more special than I am. We are all special, each and every one of us. And then,
No, I love that, and it's. I mean, let's finish your row, but self-talk is so crucial, right? I mean, the things that we say to ourselves is just so crucial because we could tear ourselves down or we could build ourselves up, right? We can encourage ourselves to do something or we can keep ourselves from do something. And your list there continues to build yourself up and fill your mind with positive self-talk. I'll let you finish. I just
let's
that's special for me.
let's elaborate on that because that
Yeah.
backs up a teeny bit.
Yeah.
Okay, persistence. If you notice, I told you my journey started on February 1st, 2009. You know why it didn't start on January 1st? Because
Because you waited till your birthday.
I had made a New Year's resolution and I blew it because I was one of those imperfect human beings I talked about. I blew it. But this time I did something different. I picked myself back up. See, there's an old saying, fall down 7 times, get up eight. When you fall down, what are you going to do? Are you going to beat yourself upside the head? Or are you going to say, I'm worthless, I'm no good, and then go right back to your old habits? Or are you going to say, I screwed up big time, made a mistake, like I did? I told you I was in Costco. I snapped at the cashier. I blew it. I came out of it. I said, I made a mistake. Mistakes are proof that I'm trying. So what am I going to learn from it? The answer is, Stanley, that's something you need to work on. Do better the next time that happens. Because I can promise you that's not going to be the last time a cashier says something that pisses me off. But work on how I respond to it, what I deal with it. I have a whole book, you know, I have a whole book on that. Something I call the stop method, where something happens that stimulates you, and then you instantly respond. Imagine a stop sign in between, and you get stimulated, and you stop. And what does stop stand for? Stop, think, observe, proceed. Even for an instant. If I would have sat there and said, shouldn't do this, I'd have bit my tongue and she might have known I was ticked off, but I wouldn't have said anything. I wouldn't have snapped at her. And that would have been that. And I got news for you. It works very well with your spouse too. If you're married, if you're married, you can save a lot of grief if you think before you speak sometimes. So, those are all things.
So you got us to 17. How many items are on
20,
that?
20, 20.
There's 20. There's 20 items.
Okay.
So is this in a book form or is this your journal
It's
app?
the journal. Okay, it's in book form and video form.
Hmm.
The Okay, if you go to my website, which is at thewayofexcellence.com, please put that in the show notes.
Yeah,
Thewayofexcellence.com.
definitely.
You go there, there's three tabs. The first tab, which is the default tab that you go to, it's got the whole system laid out. Start at the top. It gives you a brief intro into the system, and then it has a video on each one of the concepts in order, 1 through 20. Each video is 8 to 12 minutes long. So if you will sit there, what I tell people to do is go there, watch one a day, 8 to 12 minutes. In less than a month, you'll learn the whole system. Then I have tab number 2 is all my books. They're all there for free. Digital download, they're free. Not everyone has money. I want the message to get out. I want people to learn this stuff because, hey, I want world peace. How do I think we're going to get world peace? I think if honestly, I think if everyone would learn my system and take it to heart, we'd have world peace in 5 minutes. So how do you get there? You know, so that's why I give it away for free. I want to remove barriers to entry,
Yeah.
and then the third tab is healthy living, where I talk about my philosophy of healthy living. I've got several webinars in there where I've talked with other experts, where we've put on programs, broken down into text and short videos that outline the system, all kinds of things. Tells you what one of the things is 10 things that are keeping you from losing weight. Added salt, added sugar, not enough fiber, not enough rest, you know, lots of other things. So, you know, breaks you through the whole thing. It's all there. And then if anybody wants to contact me, or if you want to work with me privately, at the bottom of every page, there's a link. Click here to contact Stanley. Contact that, drop me a note. I'll be happy to work with you, happy to talk with you. But all the information's there. And it's done intentionally because I want people to have it and I want people to learn it because the system does change lives. I've seen it change lives.
I love it. I love it, brother. Well, we've blown through another hour here, and so I I lied earlier. I'm not an attorney, but I'm a real estate broker. I lied.
I'm,
I
I'm, a,
said I
I'm a
had.
real estate I'm a real estate broker too.
Oh, there you go. All right, so we're brothers. We're brothers and brothers from another. I said I had one question, and that was the "what if you could" question, but I actually have two questions that I asked my guests. So the last question, I gave you the first question. I don't give you the second, but so the last question is, if you were to leave us with a thought or message or quote or something that means something to Stanley in his heart, what would that last message for us be?
Can I give two messages?
Absolutely.
The first one is you are limitless. Start acting like it. That's the first message. The second message is all too often, all too many of us only care about ourselves. Let's change that. Start caring about each other. That is how you get world peace because we all start caring about each other. We live in an incredibly abundant world. There is more than enough in this world for each and every one of us, all 8 billion of us. There is more than enough. The problem is it's misallocated. And I'm not trying to take anything away from anybody, but I'm suggesting start giving to each other, start caring about each other, you know, do favors for each other. Because you know what happens? If enough people would start giving to each other, eventually someone's going to give something to you. That's the way it works. Everybody thinks of the law of attraction, the law of attraction. Wish for it and it'll come to you. Uh-uh. It's the law of reciprocity. You want people to give to you, start giving to others. That's concept number 8 in the system. I'm telling you, these are all, and I'm telling you, this system literally covers your whole life. It has been years since I've come across something that can't fit into the system. When I started the system, it originally had 14 things.
Hmm.
Then I turned it into 15, then 16, then 20 because I kept coming up with more things that I saw were missing. And then once I figured it all out, I'll rest on it the way it is.
It like life and like the planet and like the universe, it evolves, and
Yes.
you've evolved with it, and it's so true, and I guess that's why and I catch myself doing it on social media, or I get catch myself saying something stupid. We all do, but I just think that's why I'm so frustrated, and I'd love to talk to people like you because, um, we really do need to step back and stop just yelling at each other and start talking to each other, seeing what people want.
What a novel concept.
It's yeah, it should be illegal. We shouldn't be allowed to speak. But we're so easily manipulated. We saw it with COVID. We've seen it with so many other things throughout time, and we're so easily manipulated. And the reason we are is they keep doing that is so that we don't pay attention to what's going on. And it's really tragic. It's really tragic. And like you said with the food, oh my gosh, guys, there's one thing you can control in the entire planet. Well, two, what you put in your brain and what
Yes.
you put in your
Diet,
mouth,
diet is
right?
not just what you put in your mouth.
Yes, what
It's
you
the
put
thoughts
in
you
your
put in your
brain.
head. It's the environment you create around yourself. It's the people you surround yourself with. Okay. Give you an idea about the thoughts in your head. You know what Gandhi used to say? He said, never let anyone walk through your mind with their dirty feet.
I've got a whole book of Gandhi quotes up there. I'm sure I've
It's
seen it.
it's in
Love
there.
Gandhi quote. No, I love that. And like was it Eleanor Roosevelt said no one could make you feel anything without your permission.
No,
It's like it's so we have to. And it's our control. That's the thing. We always say, "Oh, we can't control this, we can't control that." But the most important things in the universe and to yourself are things you can control. But you have to be willing. That's why I love the you willing? Because you have to be willing to take that step to
but
control
let's
and block
change the
it,
word.
right?
Let's change the words. You get to be willing.
Yes. Yes. Yes, 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 yes.
Now,
I
when you
think I think I think if we did that with almost every sentence, if we changed almost every sentence from "I have to "I get to," it would change your life just with the changing that sentence,
yeah, it come. Yeah,
you know?
do
We
I do it
or "I
all the time.
choose to," right? Or "I choose to." I mean, is another thing. But we have to monitor what we put in our heads, have to
Get to
monitor what we put in our
monitor what
mouth.
we put in our heads.
We get to, yeah. I mean, we're so blessed that live in a world and a universe that allows us to control that if we choose to, if we
Yes.
are willing.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, listen, Stanley, you've been amazing, and I know you've shown us a couple times, but please, one more time, tell us where we can find more of Stanley Bronstein, more of your way of living the way of excellence, find more of your prayer. Where can we go get more Stanley?
It's on my website, thewayofexcellence.com.
I'll make sure that's plastered all over the place so people can go get because it really is. I checked. It's an amazing resource. It's just like a plethora of great things, and yeah, it's right there for you. It's amazing. It's not really leading you to other stuff that you have to do. So that's wonderful. That's a great gift for all of us.
My pleasure.
You got it, buddy. Guys, thank you so much. Please look for Stanley Bronson. Please go to thewayofexcellence.com, get all this great stuff, and maybe one day we will have world peace. What a concept.
Yeah.
Thanks,
What
buddy.
a concept. It
Right?
starts with believing it's possible.
It is possible. And it starts with us, like everything does. All right, Stan. Peace out. Love you guys. See you later. Thanks so much.